George and Jake, welcome to Toronto, both of you. Could you tell me what your thoughts were on the Silva Belfort fight on Saturday night, particularly the finishing move? Perhaps, Jake, do you want to go first?
Yeah, you know, it was a great fight. You know, it started a little slow, of course. The first 2 minutes had me wondering what was going to go on. But then once they got going, Anderson, yeah, he looked great like always. And that kick was another example of how fast Anderson can put people out. It's not the first time Anderson puts them out with a weird move. You know, he's done upward elbows and caught kicks and knocked people out with jabs. He's one of those people that just knock people out from the weirdest kicks and punches and elbows and whatnot.
So it's a move that you don't see. Actually, you never seen it in mixed martial art. I think from what I've seen, it was outstanding. It was very impressive. It's called a magiri. It's something that you learn in karate class, but you know it's like a basic kick, but you forget about how lethal it could be. But Anderson Silva just shows that everything works. You know, he's a true mixed martial artist, and it was very impressive. Great timing.
And can I just have a quick follow-up to both of the main event fighters? Who do you think is the best? Who do you rate as the best pound-for-pound fighter? Jake?
I mean, I hate doing pound-for-pound rankings. It's almost impossible to do. But if I absolutely got forced into doing it, I would probably put GSP right now, just because he's been so dominant with you know, not having losing around or anything in his last fights.
James Sabalski, GSN, just back here in the nose.
We got one more. He didn't answer yet.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking, yeah, the pound for pound. Yeah, it's hard to say, but you have to look the guy's credential and everything, and it's something that pound for pound. It's really only on paper, but right now I would put Anderson Silva and maybe the guy on my right, Jose Aldo, is probably they consider the two best pound for pound right now in the world.
George, sorry for interrupting. Please don't beat me up. Dana, James Sabalski, GSN, question for you, but what does it say about this market where you come in here to promote a title fight with GSP and all people want to talk about is the next big event? All of a sudden people are looking about this super fight.
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. People have been talking about this super fight between these two forever. And one of the things that I've always said is it's a fantasy fight right now. Half of it's over. You know, he just beat Vitor Belfort. That was a very dangerous fight. And now George St. Pierre's in a very dangerous fight, you know, up here in Canada. This guy is so stealth. It's unbelievable. But that's how he's been his whole career. And I got interviewed by one of the guys before I came in here, and he said, yeah, come on, you know, how scary is this fight really for George St. Pierre? The odds makers made this fight 6-1 in Las Vegas. And I said, well, let me tell you what, the people have been counting this kid out forever. I mean, and I'll admit, me too. He just fought Dan Henderson at 185 pounds, and anybody who's ever covered mixed martial arts in this room, probably even his training camp, didn't think he was going to win that fight. Not only did he win that fight, he dominated Dan Henderson and beat him. And he came in, now people are looking at probably his last performance in the UFC, and I don't care how dominant you've been and how many fights you've won or how big the stadium is you fought in, everybody gets this weird, I call it the UFC jitters when they first come into the UFC. He beat a tough guy, Martin Kampmann. And listen, this guy's a force to be reckoned with. You heard it in the thing, what is it? He hasn't lost a fight since 2005. You know, and that's tough to do in this sport.
Be a completely different fighter than Kampmann too. You see a different fighter on April 30th.
So this is a tough fight for George St. Pierre. I don't care what Las Vegas says or what anybody else says. George has to get through this fight first before we can even talk about an Anderson Silva fight.
A question for Jose and for Mark. Jose, Mark made it clear after his last victory that you have never faced a striker of his caliber, his speed, his precision. What do you have to say to that?
Isso faz parte, eu acho que não tem problema algum se ele falou isso ou não, pra mim não muda. Eu acho que eu faço meu treinamento no Brasil, isso que é importante, eu vivo focado na luta, não me importa o que o adversário fala, se eu já lutei com alguém melhor ou pior, pra mim todos que eu já enfrentei na minha carreira sempre foram bons e ótimos lutadores.
You know, that's all part of the game, whatever he's going to say before the fight. It all comes down to the training I do in Brazil. I think all my opponents have been very tough, and he's going to be no different.